What's up, y'all? Straight to the point, sports and entertainment. Let's talk a little NBA. Now, we know that the Hawks last night, they took the dub against the Lakers. And here's my thing on it. Here's my question, right? How is it that Darvin Ham still has his job, but they fired Adrian Griffin? I don't understand that, you know. Now, we know we can't say that it has anything to do with skin pigmentation. Now, let's just put that out there. We know that's not the case because they got rid of Adrian Griffin and brought in Doc Rivers. We know that the Lakers have been short-handed. I mean, just the past couple of days, but when they're at full strength, they struggle too. Okay? And now it's seeming like, LeBron is fed up with the coach in Darvin Ham. Now, do I think Darvin Ham, it's time for him to go? Not necessarily, but I don't think he's the right fit necessarily for the team. Now, what you have to give Darvin Ham credit on, and some people gonna give him credit on, is they made it to the Western Conference Finals. Okay, since he's been coaching. All right, you gotta give him that. But now it's about getting back. Look, we know that stuff is going to take place. We know stuff is going to happen. We know that, right now, AD, he didn't play last night. So, that's a big reason. But that also showed. Now, I was looking at something, though, too. Now, AD, when he does not play with LeBron all time, ever since he's been a Laker, when he hasn't played with LeBron, his record is 15-25. Okay, so we could look at it from that standpoint. Now, when the team doesn't play with LeBron this season, they're 3-4, right? And I know that the Lakers have came up short. But when LeBron's overall playoff record with the Lakers is 26-17, which really isn't bad. However, what we have to look at is, okay, when these guys don't play with each other, they're still under 500. When these guys, are playing by themselves and don't have each other as counterparts on the court. And here's my thing too. You got rid of a guy like Adrian Griffin. You bring in Doc Rivers now, and Doc Rivers, he doesn't make the problem better. Then who are you gonna blame? And it's the same thing that's gonna happen with the Los Angeles Lakers. You bring in another coach. You could bring in another coach. You could bring in another player. You could bring in anybody, right? It's not gonna solve your problems because you still have, like I've mentioned this before, you still have a lot of collateral damage, and it's gonna start from the top. It's got to go down in the hierarchy. Listen, you got to start from the front office, because they've gotten into these habits of with the LeBron culture, that they're going to have to clean all of that up, and they're going to have to really change don't change Lakers tradition or Lakers culture, but you're going to have to change the LeBron way of doing things. And that right there, it's going to take a little bit of time. It's not gonna happen right away. I think I was telling somebody, I forget which channel I was on, but I was telling somebody, and of course they're Lakers fans. The reason why the Lakers keep going through what they're going through, it's kind of similar to what Philly is going through right now, my team. You have, every time, y'all seem to be, doing good, you build chemistry, there's a win that happens, then what do? Then you let those players go, or, those players are gone, then you bring in another flock of players, and then y'all have to build chemistry. It's like y'all keep starting over. You keep starting over, whether it's with the coach or whether it's with the players. And I'm all for, you gotta pick up things, quick, fast, and on the fly. But at the same token, continuity and chemistry takes a while. If you look at Denver, which right now they are the champions, and they are the measuring stick at this point in time. If you look at Denver, and when they played the Bucks, you see clearly that the Bucks are not a championship team at this point in time, in comparison to the Nuggets. And why is that? It's because they understand they've lost together. Those guys have been together for quite some time. They built up chemistry, and they built up continuity. I thought the dumbest thing that happened, just in my opinion, is when the Lakers, they pretty much, all of the guys on that championship team in the bubble. I know it was the bubble, okay? Look, what, 20 years down the line, it's just going to say NBA champions. That's all it's going to say. And we got to live with that reality, okay, y'all? I mean, we know what it is, and we know that it was what type of situation it was and everything, and people really feel like, that that championship was a breeze in comparison to other championships. The same as the 1999 championship. But either way, it's still going to say NBA champions, and they won a title. But getting back to what I was saying, when they won that title, they should have stuck with who they had. They should have stuck with who they had. Instead, if it was like all of those guys pretty much, had not everybody, but pretty much, that team, was different. Then you went into the next season. Then it was like they forgot who they were, because of course, we know that Bron ended up getting hurt, and they, you know, they had missed the playoffs. I might be getting the years mixed up or whatnot, but and then after that, it's like they forgot. They pretty much have forgot who they were. And then here's another thing too. You can't blame Russell Westbrook anymore. That's another thing. Russell Westbrook is doing good over there in with the Clippers. You know, at first it was all Russell's fault. You know, y'all went from it being AD's fault, then it was Russell Westbrook's fault. Yeah, you know, it was Frank Vogel's fault. You know, like, and I'm talking about when Frank Vogel was there. And it's where has it gotten you? It hasn't gotten you nowhere. It hasn't gotten you nowhere. The only thing that you're going to do is play the blame game if you bring in somebody else. That's why I don't think that having another coach it's not gonna help anything, because what are you gonna try to do? Okay, what are you bringing a coach in there to win a championship, or are you bringing a coach to build another philosophy? Because whether you bring in you could bring in, you know, a coach, you could bring in another player or players, you know, because I think that they were talking about they were talking about a buyout possibly happening with Kyle Lowry. They were talking about that, and then it will also, you know, of course, the DeJounte Murray, but I don't think the DeJounte Murray trade is going to happen. And really, honestly, are you bringing him there, you know, to just to fill a void for a year or two, or what? Because or are you actually trying to build around this guy? Because it's over with now. You know, I don't see this team really going anywhere. Some people don't even think that they're going to make the play-in. Now, I haven't went that far yet, but they're pretty close to it, because that team, they're just not. They're all over the place. I think last night, who was it? Austin Reed. I think it was Austin Reed. Austin Reed had like 25 or something like that. And D'Lo has been balling out of his mind. But I guess it took him being fearful of a trade happening for him to start balling. Well, if that's what's going to make you ball, then shoot, they should be threatening you, or LeBron should be threatening you to trade all the time. But if, like I've said this before, I don't think I think D'Lo should go ahead and go. You know, I think he should go. You know, because he's going to see that all the toxic. You know, the toxic environment is going to be different. Now, I've said it before in the previous video. A lot of that toxic stuff, D'Lo brought on himself. I'm talking about when he first came in, because he, you know, had that situation that went on with him and Nick Young. Okay, but you know, that was years ago. He was a young kid, you know, just coming in and stuff. But now that you matured, you've been around the ropes of the NBA, you've grown up in the NBA. Now, what you have to look at is, okay, I'm in a situation now where I really don't have any control or say so over anything. Not to say that you did when you were a rookie or when you had first came into the NBA or anything, but you were green to a lot of things, and you were naive to a lot of things when you were first came into the NBA. Now, I'm quite sure you knew what Lakers culture was about. But I don't think that them bringing in anybody, whether it's a coach or a player or anything like that, it's not going to solve. People got to stop acting like that's going to be the end all be all to the problem, because it's not. I hate to put it that way, but it's the truth. And then this is another thing too I gotta talk about too, right? I'm gonna talk about my squad. Joel Embiid is not a championship player. He doesn't want to win championships. The only thing that Joel Embiid cares about is going out there, boosting up his numbers, and calling it a day or whatnot. Now, as hard as I've been on Joel Embiid, I've also given Joel Embiid his props too. Joel Embiid has played through countless of injuries, okay? Like, I'm not gonna make no mistake about that. You know, he played with a messed up eye socket, which if you played any type of sport before, that's not an easy thing to play with. He played with torn ligaments in his hand. He played with LCL and meniscus. I think it was meniscus tears. He was playing with that too. But at the same token, I'm not going to sit here and feel a whole bunch of sympathy for Joel Embiid, because you actually chose to do that. If you're going to go out there, then you can't make the excuse, and then next thing you know, you come into the regular season and then just be talking about all this MVP stuff, because what we're expecting you to be about is championships. You know, that's what we want. We've been itching for a title since the 80s. And to me, like I've said it before, although Tyrese Maxey, he didn't play last night against the Warriors, if Tyrese Maxey is really hurt, he's really going to sit down, because Tyrese Maxey, he has a bigger heart. And that's why I have Tyrese Maxey as the main guy and not Joel Embiid. I know people are going to trip out when I say that. Oh man, Joel Embiid, he's the leading scorer in the NBA. Da, 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 da. Yeah, that's great. But where has it gotten us? I think that if you built around Tyrese Maxey instead of Joel Embiid, I think it would be a lot better, because he just goes out there and he takes care of his business. You don't see Tyrese Maxey worried about whether or not how many, what my stats are like and all this other stuff. No, Tyrese Maxey wants to win. That's just like when they put him out there against the Hawks, they put him out there, they put his feet to the fire as a young player. Rarely was getting any playing time against the Hawks in the playoffs. And had to guard Trae Young, he had to guard a couple people out of that series, but they put Tyrese Maxey out in the fire. That's what I like. Now, although we lost, but it goes to show you, okay, man, this guy he's loaded with potential because he got heart, and he actually wants to win, and he'll do everything that he can. Whereas you had guys like Ben Simmons and guys like James Harden and Joel to a certain extent, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go in fully. I've went in on Joel enough. But you got guys like that just, you know, they don't have as much care about the culture and really about winning, period. Now, with the Bucks, I'm gonna talk about them for right now. I'm all over the place because I'm talking about several different things with the NBA. The Bucks aren't winning the championship. Okay, I know that's gonna hurt some people's feelings. Hey, I gotta call it like I see it. The Bucks are not winning the championship. They're not winning the championship for these two reasons. For one, you can't replace a guy like Drew Holiday. Okay, you can't replace a guy. It's hard to replace a guy like Drew Holiday. And as much as I like Dame Lillard, Dame Dollar, he's a liability on defense. Always has been and always will be. Always has been and always will be. He will always be a liability on defense. And that's what's going to prevent them from winning the championship. They're not cut out. They're not a championship driven team. And that's what I was saying when they played against the Nuggets. You clearly saw why the Nuggets are the champions. The thing about the Nuggets, they're sort of like the Chiefs in basketball, or in football. When we're talking about basketball, the Chiefs, if you notice, they might not play that well, you know, throughout the regular season, but they know when to turn it up. You know, Joel Embiid, or, you know, some of these other players, they might have a great game against Jokic or whatnot. Even though Jokic is just, you know, he's consistent and he puts his hard hat on, doesn't complain, and he gets better and better every year. I've said that. But Joel Embiid might have his number. He might dominate Jokic and everything. They're like, oh man, you know, Joel Embiid, man, he the best big man. Da 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 da. But Joel Embiid will be missing in action in Denver. He ain't never played there since 2019. Oh, I'm hurt. I can't play in Denver. There's a reason why you're not playing in Denver. That's why the NBA wanted to investigate that shit. And then, okay, they know when to turn it up. That's my point that I'm trying to make. Because then when the playoffs come, guess what? They money. Jokic is money. And they have the continuity, and they got the chemistry. The Bucks, this is going to be another problem is that Doc Rivers is not going to be able to solve all of these problems that the Bucks have in such a short amount of time. It's just not happening. And to me, I never thought that Dame was a good fit for the Bucks. You know, I know they're second in the East. I know that, but that doesn't mean that they're going to win a championship, because you still got to play. At the end of the day, you know, the playoffs is going to slow down. You know, I was looking at that Cleveland game, the Cleveland and Golden State game last night. Shout out to my partner Ron. Okay, we were looking at it last night, and Golden State, and I'm talking about the 2016 championship, when I went back and I looked at it, when they played against Cleveland, Golden State. That last 6 minutes of that game, there was a combination of great defense by both teams, but there was also poor decision making. The one that stands out in my mind is always is when Curry had threw that behind the back pass. I think he was trying to get, I forget who it was he was trying to get it to. It was either Clay or Draymond. Then there was some shots that were questionable by a combination on both sides. There was shots that were questionable by LeBron, because I think LeBron had he was like 1 for 6 or 1 for 7 at one point. Yeah, he hit a 3 and everything, and then he had got fouled. He hit a couple free throws or whatnot, but besides that, he wasn't efficient. Okay, and then of course you had Clay had tried to hit some shots, and then Curry was trying to hit. I think Curry, if I'm not mistaken, I think Curry had hit a 3 or something like that. But he also missed a couple. He shot a couple of shots that was like, what? Why was he taking that shot or whatever? And then, of course, the other thing that they don't talk about is that Draymond was there to clean up the misses. But the reason why I bring that series up in that last 6 minutes is because when the game gets tight and the game really slows down and stuff, Damian Lillard is going to be a liability on defense. And then not only is he going to be a liability on defense during that point in time, you have no use for him. Okay, of course, the role players are going to have to step up because it's going to become a grinded out game. But then also, Dame will probably he'll probably shoot you out of the game too. And that's not what Giannis. That's not what he's built to do. Giannis doesn't do anything like that. Giannis is going to try to make the best basketball play that he can. Now, you could have, like, earlier in the career, you couldn't have said that about Giannis, because it was easy to stop him if you build a wall or whatnot that they used to say. But now he's worked on his game to figure that out and to be able to maneuver that and use his mind with the game too. So that's why I don't feel that the Bucks are going to win the championship, because of those things right there. It's going to be with Doc, and I've gotten over the fact that he hasn't won a title since 2008. Okay, he's there now. So let's see what he can do. But it's highly unlikely that he's going to fix the problems. Dame is a liability on defense, and when the game gets tight, we don't know if those other players are going to step up, if the role players are going to step up like they used to, because you don't have Drew Holiday anymore. And I'm talking about when playoff time comes. So I've talked enough. Make sure y'all hit the like button and sub to the channel if you're not a member, and also hit the notifications. It's straight to the point, sports and entertainment. I'll get at y'all later.